said it twice, I hope you got it. I won't say it again. Talk to him. I got a podcast for that. Wanna talk business? I got contracts for that. Hey, 99 problems, got one answer for that. God, it's gonna work out. I drop gems just for that. Yeah, talk to him. I got a podcast for that.
And God bless. You are now tuning in to How You Holding Up, the podcast, and I am your host, BrooklynBoon. On today's episode of How You Holding Up, the podcast, we have tech and entertainment attorney, real estate broker, certified yoga teacher, 25-time marathoner, 7 gold star finisher, dancer and lover of life, Miss Juny Francois.
Hello.
Let's talk. But I'm not finished yet. You earned your bachelor's degree in English from Columbia University, as well as achieving your Juris Doctor from Harvard Law School, cum laude or cum laude?
Cum laude.
Cum laude. Amazing. Yeah. Now, I have a question. What was the driving force behind your academic career? The motivation, the discipline?
Whew, that's a lot. So I grew up in a household, a Caribbean household, very traditional household, that really emphasized education. That was the ticket. That was the golden ticket to a better lifestyle, of just everything. I mean, my parents immigrated here from Haiti.
There we go.
Yeah. They immigrated from Haiti so that we could have more opportunities, better opportunities. And they emphasized, education and going to school, higher learning. And my siblings and I, and my parents were like lovers of learning, even till today. Like I just got another certification as of 2 weeks ago.
Congratulations.
So I am actually a certified mediator also now.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
So now you can break up the houses and the arguments in the house.
I feel like I've always been doing that. Like I've always kind of been the mediator.
Hence the attorney.
Hence the attorney in the family.
Okay.
And so it's a kind of a natural progression.
Okay.
And to help with conflict resolution.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the learning never stops for you.
No, I think learning never stops for anyone, right?
We would assume so.
We would hope so.
Right.
Right? Because none of us are Jesus. None of us know it all.
Right.
And so you would hope that people are not only learning, but want to learn more.
Right.
Whether it's, learning about your next door neighbor and learning new food, new music, new culture. I just can't see not learning. I feel like if I'm not learning, I might as well just die.
How do you, for the person or the persons who may feel consciously or unconsciously, subconsciously stagnant, they may not know that, or they might not even think to themselves, I should learn more. I should learn about my neighbor, as you mentioned. I should learn about, my neighborhood. I should learn about life, et cetera, et cetera. How do you, what's your advice for someone on that subject?
Someone who basically just feels like, I would say if someone is feeling as if like they don't want to me, that's like you don't want to do anything, then that may be something more, there may be something deeper going on that I'm actually not certified to deal with.
What a shop.
Right. But we all have our moments. Our time where we get stuck in life, where things are maybe not going the way we want it to go, or we can't figure out how to change up some things. But for me, when I've been in those situations, the first place I go to is God, right? And sit still with him. And sitting still could be in different forms, different ways, whether it's just sitting on the couch at home, relaxing, quiet time, or actually, in prayer, or reaching out to who I call my prayer warriors, to let them know, like, hey, I'm in this funk. And so I would say to people who feel that they're in a funk or they're stuck, that's where I would recommend first that they go to God, whatever religion that they practice, that superior universe being, and just sit quiet, like be with yourself sometimes. I think unfortunately in today's society and culture, there's a lot of noise, and we feel the need to go to social media or everywhere else except for a quiet time at home. And I have my theory on people who can't sit at home by themselves and be with themselves. It's usually because something is bothering them. And when you're by yourself, you have to you have to think. You have to enjoy being with yourself.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned Jesus. You also mentioned God, right? Jesus, fortunately for me, is my Lord and Savior. How do you hear when you're sitting still, even if you're out and about? How do you typically hear the voice of God when He instructs you, and how obedient are you to take on that thought, discerning that it isn't just your thought or an intrusive thought, but it's God's voice and it's the Holy Spirit speaking to you? How do you differentiate between the multitude of voices that may be in your head and saying that's God and I'm going to be obedient and do what's instructed?
Yeah, and so
I know it's tough sometimes.
Yeah, it's tough sometimes because we want to do what we want to do.
Yeah,
right?
We do.
And so at times I feel he speaks to me through other people. Whether it be I've been thinking about something, thinking about doing something, and it keeps coming back. Whether it's someone keeps mentioning it or somehow I'm encountering that situation. And so most of the time that's how I feel that he speaks to me. Sometimes it could be in a dream. Sometimes it's a quiet, like I said, like a quiet little voice that says, come on, I've been telling you to do this.
Right.
Or he actually, other times where he just shuts stuff down. Like he, shuts the door. There's no more, there's no more you going into that door. And that has happened to me, actually, even probably very recently. I've also sometimes have not been obedient. Like there's been things where I could tell that he's telling me to do, and I'm like, nah, God, that's not gonna work. That's not me. And then I eventually, like I said, he will just shut you down. Like, I also know that there's times where I'm running around like crazy, literally and figuratively.
Right.
Because I run in marathons, and I feel there's been times where I've gotten injured, and that was him telling me, you need to sit your behind down.
And he was already warning you before the injury.
Before the injury.
Got it.
That you need to relax, you need to take care of yourself, you need to get more sleep, you need to eat more, whatever it could be, So there's definitely different ways, and there's times where I've had to pause and say, is this really God speaking to me? And I actually have felt God speaking to me even when I can see that the enemy is interfering.
Expound on that, please.
So I've been in situations where I really feel like there's been a spiritual attack, right? And he has just, like, it came close enough to, like, make me shake, but he interceded. He interceded. And that was him speaking to me in terms of either this person needs to go, not be in your life anymore, or speaking to me to say, like, oh, you need to redirect how you were addressing someone or dealing with a situation or not dealing with a situation. So I believe even in the midst of a spiritual attack, that God can be speaking to you.
Yeah, that was loaded. But I definitely heard, and I also listened. And because I heard and I listened to what you said, I understand.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, God is really good.
Amen to that.
Pun intended.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, amen to that. Because
go ahead, please do.
no, because I was gonna say, like, I've, so even like, this morning,
Mm-hmm.
I got up, did my devotional, so forth, whatever, and then I came out here. I leave my business phone out here,
Mm-hmm.
and I got a text from one of my tenants, and it wasn't a pleasant text. It wasn't written like mean or anything, but it was a subject that we discussed, and it's something that I'm now going to have to take action on.
Mm-hmm.
And I almost started to write a response at that moment,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, no. I went for my run, did my workout, and so forth. And I haven't responded yet
Mm-hmm.
because I don't feel God has spoken to me
Mm-hmm.
the words that I need to write back. Because what I want to write back
Mm-hmm.
is what Juny wants to write back,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so, and Juny the lawyer,
Mm-hmm.
let me just be clear. And that probably is what they will get back,
Mm-hmm.
some of that Juny the lawyer, because it is a legal thing that I have to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to make sure I still do it with love.
Mm-hmm. Firm but loving.
Firm
Yeah.
but loving, because
I get that.
it's basically, a situation where they have to understand that, when you take an action,
Mm-hmm.
there's consequences to that action.
Mm-hmm.
And not that I'm ignoring your concern, but my concern from a business perspective is my building.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but I need to still make sure that they understand, like, this is not personal.
Mm-hmm.
This is business.
Yeah.
And but I, that I say it with the right words, and because they're not bad people. They
Mm-hmm.
just need to learn that there's consequences for every action.
For sure.
But again, what stopped me from sending, because the initial message was not going to be,
Mm-hmm.
it was just going to be like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
And what stopped me was, God was like, not right now. Not to mention, also, it was like, it would have affected my workout, like
Mm-hmm.
my run, and for me, running is a moving meditation.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I don't want this on my mind the whole
Mm-hmm.
hour or so that I'm working out.
It's a good thing that you are an early riser and you did your devotion, because
Yeah.
had you not, that message would have been.
I do my devotionals,
Yeah.
my Bible devotions, all of that before I even send you guys messages.
Yeah.
Right?
And when Juny mentions sending us messages, it's close in the same group of time frame, but sometimes it's sporadic. It can be anywhere from 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. sometimes, which is rarely ever, maybe a 7 or 8, but most times. So I'm grateful for those. So thank you. Please do proceed.
Yeah, no. So yeah, because I also feel, so I do my own personal time with God, and I also feel that He tells me what message to send that day. Whether it's through my devotional or it could be a conversation I had with somebody the day before. Sometimes I am sending a message targeting someone in particular or someone's, because they've expressed something to me that I feel they need some encouragement. And and sometimes the response back from some friends, like, for example, the message I sent this morning, I didn't know who it was for, but the people who and not every day I necessarily get a response, but I got a lot of response today, and I was like, oh, it was quite a few people who needed to hear this message today. And I won't lie, there's some mornings I wake up and I'm like, okay, today, this is it. This is the last day I'm sending this message.
Right.
And then, if I go MIA for like a day or two, inevitably somebody else, so a few people are like, hey, are you okay? Like,
right. Yeah.
Or even like you, like if I send it, past 7 a.m.
Yeah.
You're like, good? Hey, are you good? You okay? And so I realized, like, oh, okay, this is really, this short little message is helping some people. And then there are some people who respond every day and who are thankful and who say, you know, like, oh, I needed this, or just thanking, you know. So I figured, don't ask me how I even started sending these messages. It's been a couple of years now, and God will tell me when to stop, I guess. You know, I keep saying,
right,
oh, you know, this is it. I'm going to take a break. Even just the other day, I was like, okay, I'm going to send them a message on December 31st, let them know that I'm going to be taking a little break because I'm going to be out of the country. But I've been out of the country many times.
And we've still been blessed enough to receive them.
Thank you.
No, thank you. You're the one sending it.
So when I'm out of the country, that's when the hours are usually a little off.
Yeah.
Too. Yeah. Sometimes you guys get it real early.
Right. Which is totally fine for me.
Yeah.
God wakes me up 1, 2, 3. So it just varies. But
but no, it's funny because, you know, so some of the people are getting it early. Some people are getting it in their mid-morning because I'm also sending to friends in Africa and in Europe. And some people, they're well into their day and they're like, oh, this was perfect timing because I was about to go in on my coworkers.
Okay.
No, I've literally had people who said that to me, like, oh, this is perfect timing that you said this.
So you see what I'm saying? Yeah, so now that goes back to your day this morning.
Yeah. So
there we
exactly.
Go.
Yeah.
There we go.
So I'm like, I gotta, you know, keep going until he tells me not.
Okay.
You know?
Now, you just recently ran a marathon in Sydney, Australia.
Yeah.
Take us through the preparations and also the finishing of this, what I would assume to be a milestone.
So, it's so funny because I'm in the midst of training for another marathon.
Okay. And congratulations.
Thank you. My medal's over there. Sydney was my 25th marathon.
Yes.
And my 7th star of the 7 major marathons.
Wow.
So, and there's only 4,000 of us who have all 7 stars. So that to me was, you know,
that's monumental.
Monumental. And I'm the first Haitian to have all 7 stars. Yes. So,
come on now.
So that you know, all of that combined, you know, but. So when I first started running marathons, I would only want to do one marathon. You know, it was just like I'm a sprinter. That's what I used to do, 100s, 200s. And if someone had told the younger Juny that she'd be running 26.2 miles, 42.2 kilometers, she would have been like, not me, not Juny, you know.
Do you run it all the way through or do you?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Okay. Yeah. So, you know, you may grab some, you know, drink or something, whatever. But in general, yes, you're nonstop, you know. And, you know, and I'm running for time. Like, you know, my first couple of marathons, I didn't know what I was doing. I was just, you know, I was out there running.
Right.
After a few years of doing it, I actually, I was running a race in Central Park and a coach came up to me and he was like, you're a really good runner, you know, I'd like to train you. And I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. and so, you know, we exchanged numbers and then he told me he lived not too far on the other side of Potts Park to meet him at like, it was some crazy hour, 4 a.m. or something like that. Now, I've always been an early riser because my father was an early riser. But I didn't go out running at 4 at that time. I probably went out 6:30ish or whatever.
Give me some sunlight first.
And so I actually went out and I met him, and he said that was the first test to see whether or not how committed I was. And on that first run, he took me on an 18-mile. You know, it was something crazy. Coach William Abrams, Coach Panther was his running name, is his running name. And you know, so then he started training me properly for a marathon. Like, this is all the stuff you have to do, and it's not just running. You know, you have to do strength training. You have to do some, you know, agility, calisthenics. I then got into yoga because another friend of mine, who a very good close girlfriend, I call her like my yogi mentor. She was into yoga, and I needed to be, you know, more flexible. And then I realized yoga wasn't just about, you know, being flexible and stretching. That I actually found a lot of calmness and peace when I was doing yoga, and especially after. So then I wanted to, basically learn more about the practice of yoga. So then that's why I actually went to yoga training. It wasn't actually to be an instructor. It was to expand on my practice. And so, but then I was like, God gave me this gift. Let me share it with others. And so, so all of that comes into my running, my marathon training. And so, because even the yoga, I hadn't even connected the fact that I needed the yoga to keep me going this long with running. And now I've incorporated Pilates. Yeah.
Like
and I feel like I want to be, I actually really like, initially I didn't like Pilates.
Yeah.
Right? I was like, I like my yoga. But now I'm like, I think I could be a Pilates instructor.
There you go.
Get my Pilates certification, but we'll see.
We'll see.
We got other things I got to take care of first. So the reason why there's a lot of reasons why I love running, and in particularly marathon training, and the running community. So the running one is and marathon training, it makes me disciplined, right? So like you mentioned, I'm up early. Literally this morning my eyes opened up at 3:45 a.m. I wasn't supposed to get up till like 4:30.
So that was without an alarm that you woke
no
up
alarm.
Okay.
No alarm.
Okay.
My body wakes up no matter what every day, somewhere between 4 a.m. and 4:30.
Before you continue, when you wake up, right, eyes open, how much strength does it take for you to actually get up out the bed though? Because you can be up and you can either lay in your bed and
90% of the time I'm up. Once I wake up, I'm ready to go.
Okay.
Well, I gotta do, like I said, I don't get up out of the bed right away, because one, I've read you shouldn't just jump up. It's a jolt to your system. But also I do my Bible devotionals and everything while in bed, because I know once I get out of the bed, like there's so many other distractions. And so I also just feel like it's quiet. It's the quietest time of the day for me. So, let me give God this time first and foremost. Right. Yeah. And that's what Jesus did. And also, the first thing I got to do, my eyes open, give thanks. He still has purpose for me on this earth. I woke up, is my belief. Like I believe every day you wake up, that means he has some purpose for you still on this earth.
I believe so too.
And so that's the first thing I do, is I say, thank you, God, for waking me up this morning and still having purpose for me. And so, and then, I'll do my Bible devotionals, and I have a little group that I created in the Bible app. And so I'm usually the first one, but there's two others who sometimes they beat me.
Yeah. Okay.
So every morning, even Sundays, Wednesdays and Sundays I don't run. I cross train on Wednesdays and Sundays, as you know, is my self-care Sunday. So even I wake up at 4:30, but sometimes I'll go back to sleep after I do my devotionals and everything, until I actually have to get up. Like on Wednesdays, I'll get up and I'll go train, go do strength training. And so that's the first thing, is like the discipline, which on the back end has made me work on going to bed earlier, or at least winding down earlier. I'm still working on that, because sometimes I'm up way later than I should be for somebody who gets up at 4:30. I'm proud of myself these last two training cycles, this current one and the one before that I've actually worked on getting to bed earlier.
Okay.
Because rest is a part of training.
For sure.
And so, and I actually, as I've matured, and I'm not in the big law firm culture, like, or even to some degree in New York a little bit, the hustle culture.
Oh yeah.
Where people brag about like lack of sleep. People brag about like, I only got 3 hours of sleep. Oh, I was working so hard. I've been working like a dog. If that's for you, it's for you. That's not for me, and it's definitely not for me at this point in my life. I don't think that that's anything to brag about. I think it's unhealthy, and this is why we have such, like so many sickness and disease and illness, because people are not taking care of themselves, and they actually think that that's like something to boast about. And I'm like, that's only in America though, because in other places, 4 or 5 p.m. they're going home to be with their families, and they're not like bragging and boasting about the fact that I worked 3 days straight or whatever. I worked through my whole vacation. No, they go on vacation. Yeah. So I've running has given me discipline, and then the other thing that I love about running is the running community. And so it's like another family, and it's a family I get to choose, right? So it's like your friends. And so, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love my family.
No, of course you do. We know this.
Yeah, I love
Juny loves her family. Yes. Trust us, guys.
Yeah. And so I love my family. We're crazy, but I love my family. But you get to choose who I want to run with, who I want to train with, who I want that, because that's energy, who I want to share that space with, and who will share their space with me. But we're a family. We look out for each other. If I don't show up for 1 or 2 runs, inevitably somebody comes looking for me to see, hey, what's going on?
Right.
Oh, you're sick? Oh, you need something? What? Hey, sister, I could bring it over to you. So and I happen to be blessed to be a part of 2 running communities. I have my running community here in Miami and my running community in New York.
Nice.
Yeah. So it's just a blessing on the top of a blessing. It's the obvious blessing is also staying healthy and fit, but it's also the communal aspect, which is also to me a way of staying healthy and fit too.
And that longevity too.
Yes.
My goodness. Okay. So now you just mentioned that in some cultures, like let's say New York, we're both New Yorkers, right? We know it's nonstop, especially let's take it to Manhattan specifically, right? Like the train is just fast paced, right? Being so active in the community and in your personal life, not just domestically, but also internationally, what's your work-life balance like?
So I've gotten better, a lot better with my work-life balance. Moving here was part of that.
Okay.
I started my career in New York as a lawyer. As a young lawyer, you really didn't have much say on your schedule. You could come in as early as you want. You still were going to work late.
And New York is where you want to be if you want to be a lawyer, right?
In New York, well, it doesn't have to be New York. Any major city. New York, Chicago, DC, LA, but also, I mean, even, rural America. I mean, actually, the saying, you could choose to be a big fish in a small pond or a small fish in a big pond. So, New York, you're more likely to be a small fish in a big pond, right?
Okay.
Depending, on what area of the law also you are practicing. And so it's, lawyers, even though most people think we are not needed, we are needed everywhere, Right. And I know some lawyers who have done impactful, significant work in more rural locations,
Okay.
So
thank you for clearing that up.
Yeah. So it's not, New York, if you want to do corporate law, obviously, but again, any of these big cities, Miami, LA, Chicago, Boston,
gotcha.
You can,
work-life balance.
Yeah, back to work-life balance. Right? So, I have the beauty of I work remote, and I've been working remote before remote was even a concept. So I've been working remote since 2005. Wow. So what is that? 20 years? Yeah.
You got some skin in the game.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was like before remote was a concept, before COVID.
Yeah.
Actually, I was kind of upset when COVID happened
because now
everybody else, right? But also everybody didn't know how to work remote.
Right.
So people want to call and chit chat in the middle of the day, and I'm like, no, I'm working.
So you pioneered the game.
I don't want to say I pioneered, but I would think I was one of the originals, one of the OGs. On that. And so, I, and I had to set up a whole, you have to be very disciplined when you work from home. So when I first started working from home, I would schedule meetings at like 9 or 10 a.m. to force me to make sure like I was back from my run and, work in front of my computer working, right? I also had the benefit of, I had a commute within my apartment. And my apartment in Brooklyn is duplex. And so it's split duplex. So it's 4 levels. My room is downstairs, but my office, my second room, which was my office, is upstairs. So I had to, and I would never bring my laptop to my bedroom. So that was one of my rules is like, I don't bring my lap because I don't want to work from my bed. I also wanted to separate, because when you work from home, you also got to figure out like, when do you separate? And COVID was a reminder for me because I was like starting to work like straight through because there was nothing else to do really, right? In New York. And so I had to rein myself back and be like, okay, 7 p.m. the workday ends. One of the things I love about this little wall unit I have built back here is when I close the door, and I'm like, I literally say in my head, office closed.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah. And on Fridays, I love, even more so. I'm like, oh, office closed for the weekend.
Do you have a sign that you put up?
No,
we're gonna get you one.
Right.
I
probably should get a little hanger sign, but it open the doors and then close them. Push the laptop back.
That's it.
Yeah. So I've worked on the work-life balance. I feel have a pretty good work-life balance. It's important to me to do community service work.
Right.
So in order to do that, especially if it's not pro bono legal community service, other stuff outside of the law, I have to balance out how much time I'm spending at work and how much time I'm giving back to the community especially the community that feeds me, that fed me and continues to feed me. So I think it's important, to the young lawyer out there to figure out, what's important to you besides work, and actually try to do that, whether it's running, golfing, feeding the homeless, to try to do that, at least once a month. And then maybe you could build it up to twice a month. But when you're just working, there's very few people I know who all they do is work and they love their jobs. Like, the people that I know who, whatever the career is, that if that's all they do is work, at some point they start to grow resentment because you got to have something else going on in your life, not just your job, your career, whether it's, spending some time with your family, your friends, something else, that balances it out.
Or even yourself and outside of work.
Right. Spending time with yourself, whatever it is. Yeah, exactly.
So speaking of, because you, as you mentioned earlier in the conversation, and like I know, and select others, you mentioned Self-Care Sunday. Does that intertwine with your work-life balance, and when did you start implementing that?
So yes and yes. So I dubbed Sundays Self-Care Sundays.
Right.
And it really is what it means, self-care. And the self-care could be it could be varied, whatever I feel I need that particular Sunday.
Okay.
And it, self-care could be from just, I'm going to lay here in bed until my body says, okay, I'm ready to get up. And, or like this past Sunday, I did that. And I went and I got a massage, usually when I'm training, I try to get a massage, every other week. Or it could be, and then I went to the beach. So Self-Care Sunday, since I've moved to Miami, also includes me spending time on the beach, weather permitting,
Nice.
because I like to be close to the water.
Right.
It also means no work.
Mhm.
So it's the
Okay.
Sabbath.
Okay.
So I dub it Self-Care Sunday, but it's also, for me, it's also the Sabbath, my Sabbath.
Okay.
And, and I tell people, I'm like, whatever your day is, because there's some people who observe the Sabbath or Saturday. I was just like, but, I recognize that God, he took the day off, and I should respect the Sabbath. And I've, done several devotionals about the Sabbath to get to that point of being comfortable enough to tell clients, no, I don't work on Sundays. This could wait till Monday. And if they're indignant, I'm like, I'm not an ER surgeon. Nobody's going to die if we have to wait till Monday. I said, I'll speak to you at 9 a.m. on Monday. And that's the other thing too. Part of my self-care and part of my work balance is not just the end of the workday, but when do I begin my workday?
Okay.
Because I deal with clients in different time zones, and also some clients who are early risers like me too, we're in the same time zone, and they'll send me messages because now everyone has your cell phone or whatever. They'll send me messages at 6, 7 a.m. I may or may not read it, but I'm not going to respond at 6, 7 a.m.
Right.
I'm going to respond somewhere between 8:30, 9 a.m.
The office hours.
There
we go.
Exactly.
There we go.
So that's part of the work-life balance. The self-care Sundays, I had a client recently sent me a message on a Saturday, just this past weekend, Saturday at like 7-something p.m. I read it. I kept it unread, had marked unread so that I could remember to go back to it. And on Monday, I sent my response.
Oh, you know the game.
I was not going to respond Saturday 7-something p.m. and I darn sure wasn't going to respond on Sunday.
Right.
Because the other thing is that I've told this person that Sunday is my Sabbath, and they observe their Sabbath Friday to Saturday. So, and they're very observant about they're not Jewish. They're actually Jehovah's Witness, I believe.
Okay.
But same as the Jewish,
I get it.
And so they're very, they observe their Sabbath, and I respect that. I actually appreciate that person does that, and that he wasn't expecting a response back from me before Monday anyway, because he knows that.
So it was probably something that's just fresh on his mind,
right.
and he just sent it out.
Right, and I've done the same where I've sent something to someone and I don't expect a response. At that time or whatever.
Got it.
Or, for example, my assistant, I'll send her, if I try not to send her any message on Sunday, because we both, Sunday is our Sabbath. And, I just, if any message I'm sending her is more like, hey, good morning, devotional, whatever, daily inspirational. But if I send her something, I'll say, don't look at this till Monday, or don't.
That's how you started off?
Right. Don't. But it's very rare that I'd send her stuff on Sunday. But you sometimes, some things are in your head, or what I'll do sometimes is just craft it and keep it in draft.
Okay.
Keep it in draft mode. And now with all this the technology, you can actually schedule. For example, if it's an email.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for WhatsApp to get on that same program.
Right. iMessage does it too.
Yeah. iMessage does it? Oh, I didn't even know that. See, you can schedule
messages now.
Yeah. So because you communicate with a lot on WhatsApp, so now I need WhatsApp to get on. Hey, Meta, to get on the program where you can write the message, and then just schedule it.
Yeah.
Because it's not even sometimes it's a Sunday thing. It may just be like, oh, I came to my mind and it's late, it's 8, 9 p.m. and I don't want to send the message now.
Right.
And half the time I don't want to send it because I don't want them to know that, I'm still available.
You're supposed to be unwinding
right,
anyway,
exactly,
especially getting up at 4.
Right,
there
exactly.
We go.
Oh yeah, no, my little phone tells me it go at 8:44.
Yeah.
8:44 p.m. every night. It's like 9:30 is your bedtime, so you should start unwinding.
Nah, mine is 9:29.
Oh.
Yeah. I try to be in bed at a feasible time too.
Yeah.
Okay. So look, and I'll save this actually because I I'm going to assume, I'm going to go out on a limb and assume when I ask you the question later. But right now, with the introduction, right, I've named a lot of accolades in your life, right? And I'm pretty sure I'm still missing something. You just recently were certified for something else, so clearly I missed one more, right?
But you didn't know, yeah.
Right. So, but that's what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
there's some that I'm pretty sure that I might have left out, right?
Mhm.
So now your accolades are quite impressive. Now, being so driven for so long, are you joyful or are you happy?
I will say that I have a inner peace.
Mhm.
Like, so when they say in the Bible that God gives you an inner peace that passes all understanding,
yeah.
I feel that that's where I am a little bit right now, where I can't fully explain it. I can't even explain it to myself, but I feel at peace.
I understand.
Now, not necessarily everything in my life is in perfect order, not at all. There's a lot of things, that I'm juggling, whether it's business stuff or family matters, especially being the lawyer in the family. But I just always feel, I'm like, it's gonna be okay, and definitely like living here in a weird way has given me some peace. Which again, if you had asked Juny, who graduated from Miami Carroll City High School, shout out the Chiefs, in 1980 something. If you had asked me, would I have ever moved back to Miami? The answer was absolutely not. And most of my friends from high school, they were shocked when they heard that I was, that I had bought a place here first 8 years ago. And then 4 years ago when they were like, Juny doesn't live here. Juny went back to New York. She's diehard New Yorker now, now full-time here. And so there is something that I think maybe part of it is the pace is a little slower than than New York. Miami's a little fast-paced city too. Don't be fooled, but it is a little slower pace.
Yeah,
living on the beach, also you got that beach life.
Yeah.
And that's why I said that the first year or two I had to remind myself, no, you're not on vacation.
Right.
Get your butt to work.
Right.
And so, but living here on the beach also.
Yeah.
It is a much more relaxed culture.
Yeah. Very tranquil.
Yeah, it's tranquil. It's very quiet. Yeah. The neighborhood. So yeah, I think at this point in my life, like the hustle is still always there. I think it's in the DNA, right? It's not even about having lived in New York. I think it's in the DNA being Haitian, being a Black person in this world, right? To some degree, we all always have to work 100 times harder to get what we want. So that's always kind of there. I think I just have learned how to pursue things without feeling like overwhelmed or stressed. But I've never been one to sort of manifest my stress. Like, I could have 5 deadlines coming up tomorrow, and I'd be like this, like doing the work, but like this. And then I think that actually at the law firm when I start my career, that was a negative sort of against me because they wanted to see people, or that's what they were used to.
A lot of caffeine in that office.
And I'm just like, I'm not a Kramer. Not Kramer. The Seinfeld character that Jason Alexander played.
I don't want to butcher the name, but I know who you're talking about.
But George Costanza.
Okay,
that's what it is. I'm not a George. To me, George Costanza, he had a lot of papers on his desk, but was doing nothing. And I've encountered a lot of people like that, who basically can make it seem like they're so busy, but they're not really busy.
That's that saying, you're going nowhere fast.
Oh, right, exactly.
Okay,
or seeming like, oh, they're so stressed and they're running down the hallway at the law firm, to do what, and that was not me. And it's never been me, because I actually feel like, oh, stop. Let's think about this, how to do this, how are we doing? You know, I used to say to my clients at Amex, I used to say, there's a difference between getting it done and getting it done right.
Mm-hmm.
I aim to get it done right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm not here to just check, you know, say, okay, yeah, we did that deal is over.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I want to make sure we when we close this deal,
Mm-hmm.
it's never coming back to nip me in
Right,
the butt.
right.
Like the litigators are not going to come and say, Juny, did you work on this deal? Because now we have to sue somebody,
Mm-hmm.
or they're suing us. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so can you look at this contract? You drafted this contract,
Mm-hmm.
and if they did, Erica, I felt very comfortable. The one or two times that it came back, they were just like, and they were, you know, needed me to interpret something in the contract. I felt very comfortable with what was drafted because I knew I took my time and got it done right. Yeah.
And this way you don't have to go back and edit anything, because now that's additional time, and then now that's lapsing with the additional projects that you have.
Right. So going back to answer your question, you asked me if am I happy, or what was
with the accolades that you've accumulated over the years, right? Are you joyful or are you happy?
I would say I have joy.
Okay.
I have joy.
Okay.
I have joy, and most of all, I have inner peace. Yeah, right. I definitely have a lot of inner peace. You know,
okay.
And the joy, joy to me is on a higher level than happy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and so I would definitely say that I have joy, and it's not necessarily every day is going to be peachy cream, but on those hard days, I'm able to get past them or through them because of the peace and the joy that I have.
And because of how devoted and committed you are to, when you open your eyes, God still has a purpose for you.
Exactly.
Okay.
All right. I see.
We listen sometime.
Yeah,
we listen sometime.
Yeah.
So at this point in our conversation, it's a segment that I like to go through with the people that I'm speaking with, right? So for those of you guys who know or may not know, I am also a music artist, in addition to being the host and the creator of How You Holding Up, the podcast, right? So now this segment, I will be asking you a few questions based off some of the titles from my music. Are you ready?
Okay.
So I'm very intentional with my music.
Yeah.
It carries a message, just like you're intentional with running. You're running for time, right? I record music for the message of encouragement and, and for the glory of God. So this first one, at what point did you realize you came a long way? And I know that there are multiple times in your life where you can look back and say, I came a long way from that. I came a long way from that. So it just really depends on whichever you can grasp right now.
Yeah, I guess I would say that's a hard one, but I guess I would say going to Harvard law school, and not necessarily if I came a long way, but and some people would say, because if you know, Miami Carroll City High School is not necessarily graduating Ivy League. Wow, double Ivy League.
There you go. Cut yourself short.
Students. So, but that's not why I would say I came a long way. It's not even I came a long way. It's more since I was about, let me say about age 7 or 8. I said I was going to be a lawyer, and I was going to Harvard Law School. I don't even think I really even knew Harvard Law School was an Ivy League at that age. I probably saw something on TV or something, like a show, a movie, or whatever.
Right.
But I always said I'm going to Harvard Law School. Didn't know how I was getting paid, how I was going to pay to go to Harvard Law School. Didn't at that point know, I was going to go to Columbia, right? Which basically is a feeder school. Because Ivy League to Ivy League. But I always said I was going to Harvard Law School. And so once I actually got accepted, it was kind of like, I did what I said I'm going to do. And that's kind of been sort of the story of my life. I try to manifest what I want next. And, like sometimes it happens and sometimes it don't. And I'm at the point now when it doesn't happen, that means God didn't want it to happen, because almost everything else that I've said I wanted to do, He's made a way for it. Yeah. With or without money.
And that's a testament in itself.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't come from a wealthy family at all. I told you my family's from Haiti.
Right.
My parents immigrated here. I mean, they had a good life in Haiti.
And that's not to say that wealthy parents or wealthy families don't come from Haiti. That's not the case.
No. That's right. I was gonna make it very clear. Right. Yeah. No. They had a good life in Haiti. My mom had her own little store. They lived with my grandmother and my uncles and aunts and so forth. Like it was extended family. I was born here. I don't think I've mentioned that I'm the youngest of 13.
Yeah, you did.
So the last two, we were born here. The others were born in Haiti. And so my father was educated, very well educated, and so, but they weren't wealthy. They were working class. And when they came here to America, foreign degree means nothing really. They basically had to work, and they had to work hard, and they did not have the money to send all these kids to school, to college, and so forth. So some of my siblings went to college, some didn't. A couple of my brothers went into the military, and then they went to school on the GI Bill, which I don't even think that exists anymore. I don't even know if it exists anymore. I was the beneficiary of being the youngest. So I was the one who got to go straight to college because I had so many older siblings who helped my parents. And I also learned from the good and the bad, right? So I learned from the things that my siblings did well, and I learned some from their mistakes. And they were willing to also share that information with me. And, some people say, oh, you were spoiled. And I'm like, no, I was extremely loved. And still am, because I'm always going to be the baby. I won't say that to them, but, because they like to say that. This is my baby sister, even though I'm taller than all my sisters.
No way.
Yes, yeah. So, but I know it's in love, and they really looked out for me. And so I always tell people, these degrees are not Juny Francois degree; they're the Francois family degrees.
So not only did you come a long way for you personally, but you came a long way for your bloodline.
Absolutely.
Because 13 children and you're the 13th. And then whomever else, cousins, aunts, uncles, grandparents, you putting on for the Francois dynasty.
Dynasty, I like that.
Yeah.
I mean, even till this day, when I do something, I'll, think about, what does this mean for my family? Whether it's, am I representing my parents well? Or am I being a role model for my nieces and nephews? So it's important to me that people know that, well, let me rephrase that. It's important to me that my family knows that I appreciate everything that they've done for me and continue to do for me. Because my nephews, don't mess with their auntie. My nephews, they will do anything pretty much for me. They take care of me. My nieces look out for me. My nephew was just here. He spent like 3 weeks here. 2 of the weeks I was gone. I was in New York and he was here.
Okay.
But I felt comfortable. He took care of my place, and when I came back, he made sure Auntie was taken care of. So I do recognize that I've been blessed. And I would say to people, if I ever doubted that God existed, I just look at the parents he gave me,
Mhm.
and I know that there is a God, because I was blessed with really great parents.
Mhm.
And then now I look at my siblings, and while we may have our moments, I'm like, I wouldn't trade any of my siblings. Sometimes they annoy me, and I'm sure I annoy them, but I wouldn't trade any of them. Like if I had to do this life again, I want it with the same parents, the same siblings.
That's one of the best compliments anyone could ever receive.
Well, listen, if I can't even begin to tell you, like, my siblings, especially the older ones, they have treated me like I am their child, in terms of taking care of me and making sure that I had what I needed when I was in college.
You told me that.
Yeah.
Our first conversation, actually, you mentioned that.
So I'm consistent. Yeah, that they made sure. My older sister, she bought my first TV, my first radio, my warm Sterling coat, because I was, I moved from here back to New York.
Yeah.
So, and my parents were here, but most of my siblings were still in New York. So they made sure I didn't do laundry my whole first year of college.
The luxury.
Right. Because my nephews would come and pick me up, me and my best friend.
Okay.
Almost like every other weekend or so.
Yeah.
And we go out to Long Island to my sister's house, their mother's house, and we spend the weekend there.
Okay.
And I still didn't do the laundry when I was there. My nephews would do the laundry.
Okay.
Because my one nephew's 2 years younger than me, the other one's 6 years younger.
So they just wanted you to focus solely on school.
And they do the laundry, and then we take our little laundry bag back to Columbia, and laundry was done. Yeah. And on the off weekends, my best friend, she would do the laundry.
So yeah, you definitely would. Well, you were extremely loved, for real.
Extremely loved. Okay. I mean, there was exchange. Me and my best friend, like I did cooking, she did, whatever. So,
right.
But yeah, I didn't even know how to really do laundry.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I knew from being in my mom's house, household, but I really, like a laundromat, I could probably count
how many times you've visited
on one hand, maybe. I think a laundromat. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I really don't, honestly, I don't think I've been in a laundromat 5 times.
Okay.
Yeah.
2026 is approaching. So on your New Year's resolution, I got something for you. I got something for you. So we're going to keep it pushing to the next.
Question, go ahead. Yeah.
So if you knew better, right, what would you have done better?
Meaning when I was younger, if I knew better, or what would I have done better?
Taking into consideration of who you are now and where you are now. If you knew better, what would you have done better?
Can I twist that question a little bit?
Nope.
Well, I think I would have probably. So in law school, I spent pretty much my whole first year of law school protesting. It was a very volatile time. It was Harvard had just given tenure to 4 white men, excluding Anita. Was it Anita Hill at the time? And so we spent a lot of our time protesting and shutting down buildings, which was not unusual to me from coming from Columbia, because Columbia was known for protesting in the spring. And so I think I would have probably spent a little more time in class.
Okay.
I mean, it worked out, right? I graduated with honors.
Right. Praise God.
But not meaning less protesting. That was extremely important and very, very important at that time.
I'm sure.
And it's funny because we just had our reunion of
protesting of
the Black alumni.
Okay.
Yeah. We have it every 5 years, but we hadn't had it in 10 years because of COVID. And so this was discussed, and it was funny because there was an intergenerational panel.
Wow.
And every decade, basically, or every 20 years, it was similar all the way into the 2000s, from the late 1960s, 70s to the 2000s. And, the underlying theme, the protest was still the same, basically about diversity and inclusion. And today it's even more needed. But I think maybe I would have spent a little more time in class and a little more time getting to know some more of my white counterparts. Because, there were times where I felt it was a hostile environment. So I have a tendency of, retreating a little bit, but not retreating in terms of not fighting back, but like, I'm not going to fool with you. Right. And retreating with my people, just my people. But one of the things, so I have friends who watch Fox News on a regular. Meanwhile, I can't turn to that channel really, right? But I watched it the other day and I realized, it's important to kind of know what they're saying, even if you don't agree.
So you're not blind to it.
So you're not blind to it, but also so you can know how to have a productive debate on this topic. Now, doesn't mean I'm going to be watching Fox News on a regular. But that's one of the things I think if I could have done better, I probably, would have had more conversations with some of my white schoolmates that we didn't necessarily agree or look at life the same way. So, for example, Senator Ted Cruz is the class after me from law school. That's not somebody back then I would have even entertained conversation with, right? But now he's Senator Cruz. Who knows? Maybe certain conversations that we could have had back then could have changed both of our outlooks on life. But yeah, that's maybe one of the things that I still work to do better. And I have to balance that though with having my peace.
For sure.
Too. Because I also feel like I say that, but I also feel like the Juny Francois School of educating white people about their own internal racism is kind of shut down, like closed, lost its certification, because I just feel like at this point in time, you have to want to do better and learn about the history of this country and actually the history of how people of color have been treated in this world and colonialism and imperialism, and how that has really impacted the whole world. And it's like at this age, I just feel like I don't feel like
it's draining. It's time consuming.
I'm just like here's some books. Yeah. No, seriously, that's where I am now. Like, here's some books.
Okay. So this next one, in what way has God shown you that he's on time, and how much does faith in Jesus Christ determine the way you live personally and professionally?
God shows me that he's on time pretty much almost every month.
Okay.
And definitely, so when I decided to leave my job 20 years ago, so one of the things you didn't mention is I'm a real estate investor, right? So
okay, I know I said broker, but not investor.
Yeah. Okay. So I invest in properties. I develop properties, and one of the reasons why I had decided to leave was because I started buying property outside of New York City. I had owned properties in New York City, but now I was buying properties outside of New York City, and that requires time and travel, and there's so many days you can take off or call in sick and still keep somebody else's job. So, you know, my plan was to kind of work, consult, contract. And I got a 6-month project with American Express. It was supposed to be just a 6-month project. It turned into 13 years working with them. And, you know, there's been times through, you know, out that it was just like, oh, okay. Especially when you buy a property, it doesn't immediately start making money the day you buy it, right? You got to maybe fix up some things, invest in it, get tenants, get paying tenants, consistently paying tenants. Sometimes you have tenants go through life crisis and they may not be paying. So there's been times where, you know, I've thought like, oh my gosh, am I gonna be able to cover this?
Yeah, that's
you
tough.
know, because there's several mortgages, right? That's got to be paid. And God has shown up every single time. You know, even when there were times where, like, I had a building where I have 4 units, but only 1 apartment was rented because I was doing work on the others and slowly rent, you know, like finish work on one and then rent it. And everything's got covered, you know. So I do and know and believe that He is an on-time God and that He provides, and when He provides abundantly.
There we go.
Yeah. There was a second part to your question.
Yes, and how much does faith in Jesus Christ determine the way you live personally and professionally?
Yeah. So I think I kind of answered that, but
you did.
Yeah, I mean, that's just a given. That's, you know, I mean, I literally wrote someone today, this morning, who is leaving her job now, and she's come to me, you know, for guidance and advice, and she's a believer, and I just told her, I said, you know that we have a God who provides, and I sent her a message last night, and then she sent me a message this morning. I sent her a message saying, oh, it's going to work out, you know. I said, because we have faith, you know. I said, we have faith, and we have a God who's on time. And so, you know, again, it goes back to what you had asked me earlier, right? So it's not just having faith, it's also knowing when to move and not to move, when to listening to Him, right? Because you know, you can't just have faith. You still also got to do something on, you know, to act on your own too.
Yeah. I'll ask you that. No, actually, I want to ask you that now. Your friend, if you don't mind, is her leaving her job a command that God has instructed her to do, or is it because maybe circumstantially in the job? If you don't mind just sharing that.
Yeah. So I'll share what she's, you know, shared with me, and what I know too, because she's a friend, but she's also part of my village of running, you know, in terms of those who help keep this body going. And so she's leaving. She's in prayer. She's been in prayer about it for almost the whole year, and she's decided to leave this practice, probably to start her own practice. And but she's been in prayer about it, and even the exchange we were having for the last 2 days was about, you know, a facility that she has access to, and whether or not she should use that facility. And so she says, I'm still praying on it, and I'm, you know, going to see where God leads me, you know. So she's very much, you know, she hasn't just been like, oh, I'm quitting and boom, leave, you know. And because she works to her boss is a friend that she went to school with. So so she's in prayer about it, and has been in prayer, and, you know, I admire that, and I've been there. So I know it's not an easy decision.
It's not.
Yeah.
I'm gonna share this briefly because we have 2 questions before we wrap up. At the beginning of the year, the Lord told me to quit both of my jobs. No backup, and I did, right? And it can cause, if you allow doubt and uncertainty to creep in, it can cause your faith to waver, and then that can create doubt in the God that you serve, and then you would start doubting if that was His voice that you heard and His instruction that you heard, and then it's not everyone around your friend. You've experienced it, right? But not everyone who is led to do something by God is going to understand. It might not even make sense to you at times, right? But we walk by faith and not by sight. So
Right.
I highly encourage your friend to trust God, and as you mentioned and as you know, He will provide, and he does provide. So yeah, she's got this.
Yeah.
Right, because she's got you, and of course God got us.
Well, she's got God.
There you go. So before we go, provide us all with an encouraging word. This is your time. This is your chance, your opportunity.
One word or?
No, an encouraging word.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is your chance to provide us all with an encouraging word. This is your chance to talk to him.
Okay. So I would say as I've matured, I've learned to believe in myself, obviously, which comes from believing in God. And even more than just believing in myself is finding approval within, as opposed to looking to the outside. And that comes with, again, having that relationship with God. And so, especially for the young people out there, because, I'm hearing things, and it's almost, it's scary that I hearing like 15-year-olds and 16-year-olds who are committing suicide. And I try to think back as to when I was a 15 or 16 years old. I was like, life didn't seem like it was that hard, but there was no social media, right? And so unfortunately, I think social media, there's good and bad, right? And so we tend to be looking for that approval. You post something and then you're looking how many times somebody's liked it or viewed it. And instead of looking for that approval from the outer world, find that within yourself. Find joy and peace within yourself, and know that so I have another friend who is a coach, executive coach, and he helps people with their resume, their photo for whatever LinkedIn. And he was showing me recently 2 clients that he helped fix up their
resume.
Not the resume, the
headshot,
the photo, whatever. But it was, for me, I felt like this is too much doctoring, right? And then he was like, "Oh, you want me to show you? Because there's an app or whatever, that you can lift up the nose." And I was like, "No, not really," And he was just like, "Well, let's just do it for fun." And as he started make it, he was like, "It's not changing much on you." And I was like, "That's because I am who God made me," And I was just, and I say that meaning, like, I was like, accept who God made you, and that you are wonderfully and created by Him. And once you start with that premise, that there's nothing you can't do that you set your mind to and do it along with Him, and 2, that you are enough. You are enough. You don't have to go and try to prove to other people to accept you and to approve you. If they can't accept you for who you are, then they're not meant to be in your life. And that's all I've got to say.
Before we go, one more time, just reiterate who you are, but also if anyone is interested in any of your services, just provide them with the services you provide and or where they can reach you at.
Okay. So I'm Juny Francois. I am an entertainment and technology attorney. I am also a certified yoga teacher and coach, and now a mediator, certified mediator. Oh, and herbalist. Oh yeah, and real estate investor. So
and broker.
And real estate investor and broker. Yeah. So my Instagram, surprise, is called @Juny of all trades. Juny, JUNYALLOFTRADES, Juny of all trades. And I could talk a whole sermon about why I wear so many hats, because I believe we are diverse beings. But if you are looking for, I am a wellness coach. You can reach me at Juny of all trades. If you are interested in real estate, which is one of my other passions besides running, real estate in the U.S., the Caribbean, and Africa. I wouldn't even touch upon my work in Africa.
We're going to come back to that. Trust me.
Yeah. You can reach me at Juny of all trades.
Well, you guys have heard it here. This has been another phenomenal conversation with your guy BrooklynBoon and Miss Juny Francois. Until the next time. Well, first off, how you holding up? Be sure to ask someone else too. Until the next time, how you holding up? The podcast. Do well, be blessed.
Good job.
Good job to you.
Thank you. Good job. Oh, man. All right.
I said it twice, I hope you got it. I won't say it again. Talk to him. I got a podcast for that. Wanna talk business? I got contracts for that. Hey, 99 problems, got one answer for that. God, it's gonna work out. I drop gems just for that. Yeah, talk to him. I got a podcast for that. Wanna talk